People are worried about the things they cannot control, and I understand. I worry about Nintendo on the daily. I worry that as much as is going to happen in the 2019 lineup for Switch looks absolutely amazing to me right now. Absolutely amazing. I don't think there's a single game coming to Switch that's exclusive that I'm aware of that makes me not excited. Everything coming to Switch next year looks like baller, man. It's exactly what I want. It's amazing. It's ultra. It's sweet. But what happens if those games aren't very good? Should I sit back and be like, what happens if Animal Crossing sucks and Fire Emblem sucks and the new generation of Pokemon sucks? What happens if all these games, I just don't enjoy them? What happens if no more new games get announced? What happens if this? What happens if Nintendo Switch's online service crashes and I can't play Splatoon anymore? I could sit here all day and worry about the what ifs and the possibilities of things going wrong and Switch becoming my most hated platform next year and me wondering what I'm doing with my life as a Nintendo YouTuber, and next thing you know, I become a PlayStation 5 YouTuber or something. I could worry about that crap all day long. Or I could be like, you know what? Maybe this isn't going to be so bad. Maybe the Nintendo Switch Online service is going to get better. Maybe they are going to eventually add Netflix. Maybe Animal Crossing might be the best Animal Crossing ever. Maybe the next Pokemon game next year is going to convert me from being someone who loved Let's Go to being someone who's now hardcore into traditional Pokemon. Maybe, just maybe, everything's going to be okay. Because more often than not, everything is. I was not excited about the lineup for this year, but you know what? Switch is still okay. It's still selling well. I'm still enjoying the games that have come out. I'm still having fun as a gamer. So we could sit there and focus on all the what ifs. What if things go bad? What if this? What if that? But what if they don't? And I think sometimes we spend so much focus, so much of our energy on what the negative could be, what the downside could be, but ignore that it doesn't have to be that way, right? It doesn't have to be. Things don't have to be what you fear they will be. They can be something completely different. We look historically. We look at the fact that all the reasons you bring up for why game streaming shouldn't exist are the exact reasons that physical games aren't going anywhere. You're making the argument for why we shouldn't be afraid. The arguments against game streaming are the same arguments on why we shouldn't be afraid of game streaming. But everyone wants to just presume the worst. Everyone wants to live in this alternate reality where everything is going to be bad because we fear it's going to be bad. And even if something ends up being bad, say you're ghastly afraid that Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is going to be a bad game, and it ends up being a bad game and disappointing you, does that mean that everything else coming forward, does that mean the new generation of Pokemon is going to be bad and disappoint you? We can't live in there's so much negativity in the world. There really is. There's a lot of negativity. We're surrounded with it, right? I'm surrounded with it in my house at the time. My kids making me stress out and stuff. Like, that's all negative vibes to me, right? But we don't have to be that way. This is an entertainment medium. Why do we play games? Why do we play? Like, forget physical, forget digital, forget streaming, forget console wars and Switch and Xbox and PlayStation, gaming on your PC or on your phones. Why do we play games? Right? We play them to be entertained, right? That's the ultimate reason. We play them to have fun. We play them to be engaged. We play them to express ourselves. We play them to get away from what's happening around us, right? There's a zillion and one reason we play, but all of it basically boils down to we play them to enjoy something, to get something that we're not getting somewhere else, right? That's why we play games. Regardless of how the games are delivered to you, you can still get that, right? It can still exist. All those physical boxes back there, they're sweet to look at. But you think when I turn on my Switch, whether I'm popping in a cart or I'm loading up a game digitally, it changes my experience with the game? Do you think it changes how I feel about that game? Do you think if I play Octopath Traveler physically or digitally, it changes how I feel about Octopath Traveler? Same is true with game streaming. Ultimately, I think we forget why we play games. And I think we focus so much on the negatives, so much on the fear of something bad. I'm guilty of this too. That we ignore what could be good. What directions could happen that make things better for everyone. Oh, your internet's bad. Maybe game streaming helps internet service providers up their speeds without charging you more. Maybe it creates more competition in the field. You know what's so great about fiber? Fiber has made a lot of cable internet providers up their game. Made them provide the speeds they've been denying us. Because fiber exists. Fiber is creating competition. Fiber works around cable contracts because fiber isn't cable. Fiber is brand new lines that cable contracts cannot lock. Yes, a new deal with Comcast can block other cable providers for 10 years. It can't stop Google from coming in with fiber. It can't. Unless they provide a fiber line to your house, it can't stop them. It's illegal. In the United States, anyways. Instead of being afraid of change, being afraid of the unknown, let's just enjoy what we have and let's be excited about where gaming's going. We are at a point in 2018 where gaming's more accessible than it's ever been, where I can play Fortnite on my damn phone. Not everyone can, but some can. That's just amazing to me. A full AAA style game. I can play it right here on my phone. What a crazy world we live in where that's possible. What a crazy world where I can play a full, fat, brand new, maybe the best game of all time on my Switch, on my big 4K TV, on this little 1080p, through live streams over the internet. I can take it with me on the go to the bathroom, on the train. What an amazing world we live in today with video games. It's truly stunning. And you're telling me there's a chance in the future that I could take a device like this that might be 5, 10 years old at that point, and I could stream like the greatest Nintendo games ever without having to buy new hardware to my TV with this? Are you telling me that's a future that could exist? That to me sounds amazing. What if I hit a hard time financially and I can't buy a new system? Imagine a future where you don't have to worry about backwards compatibility anymore. Where you don't have to worry about always having the latest and greatest hardware. Like, to me, that's exciting. There's some cool things going on. And all of it still gives me games. Because ultimately, the hardware doesn't matter. Ultimately, what TV you're playing on doesn't matter. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if you buy the game physically, digitally, or you stream it. What matters is the games. And that gets lost so many times in conversations like this. So much spent on the negative, not enough focus on, man, video games, like what I get out of video games. The fact that I can escape in Breath of the Wild, the fact that I can like deal with some of my emotions and anger and sadness and other things I have through playing a game, that is an experience I want every person on this planet to be able to have. And if game streaming helps even one person get it that previously could not afford to have that experience, I'm all for it. Because they deserve it. They shouldn't be held back because they don't have the kind of money I do. They don't have the kind of money you do to buy new hardware, to buy $60 products plus DLC plus online services and stuff. But they do have internet. Right? They do have the money to go buy in 5 years, go buy this for like $100 at a used game store. And then they do have a spare $20 a month instead of $60 to get one game to play all these games. They do have that money. They just don't have the money to be in the medium like we want. Bringing this to more people, I think, is more important than anything else going on in this industry. Because regardless, you, me, and everyone else, we're still going to, regardless of what happens, all of us are still going to play games. Because we play games for the games, right? We know how important this space is. We know how important these games are. We know that just like with movies and music for some people, it's not just a little kid's game anymore for us, right? These games have meanings to us. When I sold my copy of Breath of the Wild 3 months ago, I nearly cried. I have an emotional connection to that game. It felt like I just sold off one of my own kids. So that's why when Two Holmes went out of his way and rebought the game for me and some of my other games like Odyssey and stuff like that, it's why I got like so emotional on the live stream when I started playing it again. Because it's like my long lost lover, my long lost child came back to me again. Because what that game has meant to me for my state of mental health. Yes, I have children. I have other things way more important than life and video games. No video game, movie, or music will ever be the most important thing in my life, and it never will be. I could have my entire house burned down and lose everything, but you know what? I'll be okay as long as my kids and my fiance are fine. But that doesn't mean there's not a value there to this entertainment medium. And the more people that get to enjoy that, the better. This is why I get so mad when people get mad about, this exclusive game that was on a platform once is now on everything. Who cares? Who cares? Let it be. Let more people enjoy that experience. If Breath of the Wild is on PlayStation 5, who gives a crap? Let more people enjoy that kind of game. Make it more accessible. Because ultimately, everyone deserves every person out there deserves to enjoy video games and get out of video games what we do. It'll make the world more understanding of the medium, and it'll make them more understanding of video games' place in culture. That it's not just a toy. That what Nintendo says about being a toy company is underselling what video games actually mean to people.